Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our SW Elite podcast and YouTube videos. We're excited to have you join us today and are looking forward to what we are going to talk about today. As Shalise and I were getting ready to, record this and talk about what we feel like is most important to share, this topic came up and we feel very passionate about it because we know how important it is for you on and off the court. So today we are going to focus on the topic of confidence and why confidence matters for you, not only on the court, but off the court, and how we need to help you have a mind shift change to be able to understand confidence versus true confidence and how it actually comes off the court first before it comes on the court.
Yeah. So, like Wood said, everything that we do in preparation for game days or anything in life, it takes practice. We have to take the time to prepare. And I feel like a lot of us, we are just waiting for something to happen. Or we get on the court and we hope that our shots are falling, that we're in help on defense and all this other stuff that's related to the game like situation. But think about the things that you're doing in preparation for game days. You're fueling your bodies with proper nutrition. Hopefully you're getting enough sleep. Hopefully you're recovering. You go to practices every day. You're going to school, getting your education. You're having all your other social activities. And all those things outside of game day is building your confidence, whether you may think you are or whether you may think you're not. Everything that we do in life and everything that we're trying to do on the court, it all ties together. A lot of you have heard that life is a competition. We're trying to be our best selves, right? But a lot of us feel like, I don't know if I can handle that. But let's take a step back. Let's take the baby steps. We don't have to take this huge leap and go bungee jump off of a cliff. We can take those baby steps first of having that idea, okay, I want to play basketball. What do I have to do first? And it comes with confidence, that idea of, oh, I want to play. What's next? And that's how confidence starts. We're born, we have a mom and dad, or legal guardians, or whatever your situation may look like. And the way we grow up has an influence of how we are. So the thing it says is true confidence is the quiet belief that you are prepared, capable, and grounded no matter what the outcome. So confidence is something that you do when no one else is watching.
Yeah, and as Shalise mentioned, this starts off the court. I love that the reason we put confidence versus true confidence. Too many people in our society like to be fake. They actually think they can fake it to make it. And I know there are times we have to dig deep and really try and believe that we can do it, which I guess you could say is faking because we hadn't done it yet. But there's a difference between that and the intent behind it. Too many people want to be confident to get the attention. True confidence is when you are at peace internally. And no matter what the outcome or the opposition or whatever, you're able to stay grounded and prepared and capable, like Shalise said. So today we're really going to focus on how you start to do this before you ever step on the court. I will tell you, I've coached enough basketball long enough. I usually can tell within a practice if somebody has stuff going on outside of basketball. Because I've watched enough players, I've worked with enough people. You can try and fake it, but your mental toughness, your ability to focus, your ability to learn and retain things is all impacted by what is going on off the court. So we're going to dive into this and get going today on how do you become confident before you get on the court. So I want you to think of these couple things. Most athletes think confidence looks like in the moment. And some of those moments might be examples like how they feel during a warm-up. They want to hype the energy, the spark, right before game, get that clapping going, get that going. Those are all important things, but that's not what we're talking about. And then deep down or in their mind, they're thinking, oh, my confidence is going to come because of how many points I have or how many steals I have. Or if my team wins, instead of being confident, ready to face the moment, not worrying as much about the outcome. So there actually is a big difference, and it's a mind shift that we hope you will take today as we talk about how this plays into your game.
Yes. So a lot of you may be thinking, okay, I am kind of that person that waits till the song comes on. We all have our playlist or we have our warm up music where we're like, this is my jam. This is where my confidence builds. Okay, that song isn't playing the whole game. Sometimes our team may be in a slump and the bench is low, like the energy is low on the bench, but it's what's your energy inside of you? What are your thoughts? It goes back to one of our very first podcasts is that positive self-talk. What we're saying on the bench and what we're saying in our minds is going to help either boost our confidence to get through the game or it's going to tear us apart. And so, as Whit said, it comes before we even step on the court. If we don't feel grounded off of the court, we're going to probably have a lot of performance anxiety. We'll have a lot of comparison between our teammates, and we'll just have a lot of self-doubt. And we don't want that when we're on the court. We want to be confident. And the question is, what are we doing and how can we do that? And the answer is it comes from your routines, your habits, your mindset, and your self-awareness. That can be from being aware of what our goals are for that game. It could be what are our goals for the season, what are our goals for the school year, what are my habits or my daily non-negotiables that I am willing to do every single day to help me be my best selves. And those habits turn into your routines, and those routines help you with your mindset. It helps with that anxiety you may be feeling. And as you have those routines and your habits and that healthy mindset, that's who you become. That becomes your identity, and that's what people know you as on and off the court. Like my athletes know that I go to bed at 9:30 or my phone shuts off at 9:30. That's a habit I've created, and they know I'm not a night person. And so it's like that's part of my identity. I'm not a night person, but I can be if I want to be. But people will start to know, oh, hey, like this is who they are. This is part of them. This is their routine. And if you talk about it, people can hold you to your routine. People can hold you to your habits, and people can check in on you. And I think that's important because yes, confidence is something that is very much is our own, but having people believe in us and hold us accountable helps our confidence grow even stronger. But we have to be willing to talk about what we want to be and share our habits, share our goals, and then people will get to know who we truly are and what we truly stand for. And we can be confident in who we are, and then it helps them be confident in who they are.
Yeah, this is huge. This is such an important thing. I'm going to kind of ask you a question that might kind of come out of nowhere, but I want you to think about it as we talk about this next part that focuses on self-awareness. Who are you really? Do you know who you are? Have you ever even paused to ask yourself that question? I think sometimes when you're young and life is busy, it's, we focus about ourselves and what we want, and I'm going to get this, and I want to do this. But have you ever stopped to think about who you truly are? Like, why are you here? What's the purpose of life? What is there a life after? I think a lot of people take that from like a spiritual standpoint. But this is important for you to have an identity and to know that you're bigger than just basketball. And we'll talk about that in a future podcast. But to help you start to discover that, it's self-awareness. And actually, this is like a hidden superpower if you want to become one of these elite athletes that we're hoping you will become and helping you to become. You have to be self-aware. Where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? What am I doing good today? What I'm not doing well today? I am not 100%. I'm sick. I have too much going on in my personal life. That is where the self-awareness comes in. So to kind of help you understand this, I want you to think about self-awareness is your ability to understand a few things. First, what you feel. Do you know how to feel? Are you able to feel things? Why are you feeling it? Did something happen earlier that led you to feel this way? Do you even know why? Maybe you don't know why. What do you need? Are you aware of what your needs are? Do you need somebody to listen to you? Do you need a friend that actually connects with you and you don't feel like you're always being the one that's giving or being taken advantage of? What are your needs? How do you best perform? Do you know your strengths, or are you always relying on a coach or a teammate or a parent to help build you up and to hype you up and, oh, you did so good on this? Or do you know inside who you really are and what you're good at? If you don't, that is going to set you up to really struggle and never get better, because you're always looking for that gratification and that recognition from somewhere else instead of where it really needs to come, which is inside of you.
And kind of going off of that, like the what you feel and why you feel it. Stop pushing down your emotions and pushing it away. That's going to cause big problems in the future and right now, too. Allow yourself to feel all of the emotions. The more you're able to feel, the more you're able to connect. And that's what we need to be able to do, is to connect, to have that confidence. But that's a whole other topic in and of itself, but allow yourself to feel those emotions, and then those emotions can dictate what you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this goes along with what Shalise said, is those feelings and emotions, do they fuel you or do they drain you? Because too many times you don't understand, and it's amazing. I get, as a teenager and athlete, you need good sleep. You need to do things. But I've talked to athletes recently that are like, oh, I could sleep for like 12 hours. Yes, maybe here and there, but if that's like your consistent routine, you're probably getting too much sleep. Why are you trying to sleep away life? Like, are you lacking purpose? Are you lacking awareness of what you need? And coming from a medical professional, a lot of times when you need to sleep longer, you're avoiding something. And most of the time, we're avoiding our true selves, who we really should become and what we're capable of becoming, because it's easier just to push it all away. But I promise you, as you work through that and you ask yourself these questions, what you feel, why you feel that way, what you need, how you perform best, what fuels you or what drains you, you're going to feel a lot better. And your life, not only in basketball, is going to be better, it's going to like skyrocket to where you want it to go. And your life off the court is going to be much more exciting and enjoyable.
Absolutely. So, if you haven't already, I would suggest getting a piece of paper or a notebook to write down those questions. And really just pause the video, pause the podcast, whatever you're listening on, and really take time to answer those questions. They are what you feel, why you feel it, why you need it, how do you perform your best, and what drains you versus what fuels you. So take some time to really answer those questions and write them down. Don't just type it out on your phone. Really write it down so that way you have a visual of this is where I'm at. And then you can do another self-evaluation, maybe like at the end of basketball season, be like, this is where I was at, this is where I'm at now. So I would suggest a piece of paper and a pen or whatever. So the next step is, how does self-awareness build our confidence? So the first thing we need to do is we need to understand our strengths. And a lot of the time we are downplaying at what we are good at, and we start using it intentionally. Like, what I mean by downplaying is like, oh, I'm a good shooter. Yeah, but only when I'm open. Yes, everybody's a great shooter when they're open, but we're great shooters when we have the ball. Like, we're looking to shoot, we're confident. Every time the ball is in our hands, we are confident. We're looking for our shot. Or whatever else it may be. That's just the easy one that just came to my mind. Second, we need to recognize patterns. So, what throws you off? What makes you overthink everything? What helps you lock in? And as we recognize those patterns, we can adjust and pivot and make changes to better ourselves in everything we're doing on and off the court. Third, we kind of talked about this. We can regulate our emotions. So instead of being overwhelmed by the nerves, let's think about it. Take a breath, count to 5, reset, and then respond. A lot of us, we just respond, or we don't respond at all and we just shut down. Shutting down, I mean, for those of you who do shut down, how's your game? Where are you at in the middle of a game and you just shut down and you're like, you're probably sitting on the bench. But if we can learn how to regulate our emotions, so nerves are good. Nerves mean that we care. If you feel anxious before a game, that's good. That's normal. We want you to feel anxious because that means you care so much about this game and you're ready and you're prepared and you're going to do everything you can as in working with your teammates to get the W in that column. Shows that you care. Emotions are good. Stop pushing them aside. Feel them. And fourth, we make better decisions. So we make better decisions in our trainings, our recovery, and our sleep, and our nutrition. And all those things that we do help us become aligned with our goals. And I know a lot of you have very big goals, but if we're not setting and making good decisions, then those goals are going to be really hard to attain. Where if we are making really good decisions, those goals can be easy, but will require a little bit more work. So just think about that. Where are you at right now? And number 5, stop letting stats or opinions define you. A lot of the time I hear from a lot of people, I only did good at my game today because I scored 6 points, or I scored 12 points, or I got this many rebounds, assists, steals, whatever your stats are that you're trying to get. Your stats do not define you. Congratulations, you got six steals. Okay, cool. What else do I get to know about you besides that you just care about your steals? You are more than basketball. You are more than your stats. And your identity becomes rooted in something deeper. It needs to be rooted in something deeper than just your performance on the court. Because your performance on the court only maybe lasts about 36 minutes if you play the whole game. You are more than 36 minutes. So think about that for a second.
I love that because life is going to move on at some point. For those of you that go play college basketball, there will come a day when those moments will end. And it's not a bad thing. But do the skills and the things you've learned help you carry confidence into your family relationships, into your work and profession, into how you participate in community things and be involved to now pay it forward and share what you know to other people? And I was thinking about, as Shalise was talking, how much I wish I would have understood things that were teaching you when I was a high school athlete. You know, I don't think I was the worst, most unconfident player. Like, I had some confidence, but I do really good when somebody teaches me and walks me through it. I'm a visual learner. I like to be walked through things. And I'll never forget a coach one time. I was being doubled or triple teamed in games. And, you know, I could score. I wouldn't say I was the worst shooter. I was definitely a scorer and could score. And I remember asking my coach, what do I do about this? I've never experienced this. I don't know how to handle these situations. And he kind of blew me off and he's like, well, figure it out. I didn't respond well to that. It just made me mad at him and it shut me down. And actually, I let it impact my confidence negatively. And I stopped wanting to be an offensive threat because it was easier to just pass the ball to my teammates who were open, even though they didn't score as much as I did. And that's okay. Like, I wasn't trying to be selfish. I didn't need all the stats. I had some teammates who wanted those types of recognition. I deep down didn't. I just wanted our team to win. And it's hard, right? You can see how on a team this can get very complex, because if you have one player that's confident in themselves, but the team is the focus, versus somebody who's confident in themselves or not confident and it's all about them. This is where it gets messy. And so we want you to find these true self-awareness so you can become the best confident person. So this is a long-term life thing, not just right now in the moments. And I really promise, whether it's a lose, you should be disappointed if you lose, right? The goal is to win, but that disappointment should not last for days or weeks. And that's when you don't have confidence, you focus on that because you're more focused on the reward system of your confidence instead of having the inner peace of who you really are.
And so to wrap that little segment up, it's self-awareness is what turns confidence from momentary feelings into a lifestyle. So what kind of life do you want to have? I can promise you in 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember your high school stats. All they're going to remember is that you played basketball. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. And what type of teammate you were and how you carried other people and treated them.
Yeah. And that comes down to who we are. And that's part of our confidence. Confidence in ourselves, confidence in our teammates, and everybody else around us that we surround ourselves with. That's what people remember. People don't remember what you did, they remember how you treat them. And I think that plays a huge part in our confidence as well. So, jumping into this one is, okay, you've been talking a lot about stuff that we got to be doing off of the court. What habits do we got to create off the court so that way we can have good habits on the court? So confidence on the court, confidence off the court. What do we got to do? So we're going to go through a few things. And we're just going to alternate them so that way you're not hearing one person talk the whole time. So the first one is preparation is built in the small, boring moments. So confidence comes from knowing you've done the work when nobody's watching. If you want to be really good at basketball, you have to be doing things outside of your 2-hour practices every day. It comes down to what you're doing over the summer, what you're doing in the off season. If you want to become great, you have to put in the work. And it's not just for sports. It's your academic studies. If you're just studying in the classroom, your class, and you're like, I'm just going to wing it on my test. Okay, good luck winging it. Hopefully you pass. All right, some of us are gifted naturally, are gifted test takers and can do that. But a lot of us, we have to study outside of the classroom. We have to put in the work to get a good grade. It goes into there's so many examples, but it's what we're doing in the small, quiet, boring moments.
Yeah, I was thinking as you said that, just to practice today with some athletes. You know how sometimes the varsity or the main 5 players get the limelight. Well, I had 10 other players on the sideline watching, and yet some of them were yapping and chatting and talking and not even paying attention to basketball. And I think sometimes that can be a boring moment as a player because you're sitting and watching the girls play, yet you wish you're in. And honestly, those are the most important moments that can be boring, but they are the most crucial to learn. I loved watching. I was usually on the court, so as a player, I didn't get to watch as much. But as I was able to stand on the sidelines and watch somebody else run it, I could pick things up really quick. And then I was already ready to go in. I didn't have to have a coach sit and explain it to me. So I find myself as a coach sometimes, these players want to be so good and they want to win. And yet here they're over there talking and not even paying attention and putting in the work. That can be frustrating as a coach and as players because your team is relying on you to be ready when you get in the game. And so I love being aware of those boring moments that you might not like. Take advantage of them. They will help you jump your game quite a bit. So number 2, your environment becomes your foundation. This is so true. If you have chaos and unhealthy relationships in your home life, in your friendships, in a dating relationship, a work situation, guess what's going to show? It's going to show on the court. So how you are hanging out with your friends, what are you doing, what are you consuming, how you believe about yourself, and what people around you are saying about you is going to impact your confidence and your ability to perform on the court. A chaotic off-the-court lifestyle, guess what it brings on? A chaotic type play when you play basketball. You're not composed. You're not able to listen and calm yourself down. You become anxious. You become bugged or mad or irritated at the smallest comment that wasn't intended to be that way because you're not in a good place to receive the feedback, the insights, the teaching. The other thing is a grounded athlete performs more with clarity. If you are constantly on your phone and you're constantly having to be stimulated, one, you're self-inflicting ADHD, if I'm being honest to you. That does not help you learn. But your brain can't calm down to retain things. It's like going in one ear and out the other, which we don't want you to do. We want you to retain this information so you can learn and build on it with every practice.
Yeah, and the one thing that keeps on coming to my brain about that is who we surround ourselves with is super important. And a lot of us are hurting in some way, shape, or form if we're pushing down our emotions. And the one thing that I heard the other day was hurt people hurt people. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like if we're not willing to regulate our emotions or change our environment, we're choosing to stay in something that's not great or benefiting us. Where if we're surrounding ourselves with people who are genuinely positive, genuinely invested in our success, and are constantly giving us positive self-talk. You're giving positive self-talk to them. Like, good people help good people. So just think about that. If you're hurting, are you hurting others? If you're doing good, how are you helping others? Just a thought. Third, your recovery habits shape your mental state. We've talked about recovery and we talked about the importance of I've talked to several people about recovery because a lot of you don't recover. You're just having a good time and hope you don't get hurt. But recovery is critical. So recovery is like your sleep, your hydration, mobility, so your stretching, your nutrition. And the reason why we are stressing recovery so much is because they don't just affect your body. They affect your emotional stability, your focus, and guess what? Your confidence. If we're not taking the time to properly recover, we're not allowing ourselves to properly regulate everything to flow. Our body has this flowing system and we need things to flow. And if we're not flowing, we're getting blocked. And that could be a block in mental clarity, a block in our gut, a block in blood flow, or a block leading to injury. If we're not flowing and taking proper care of ourselves, then our self-talk probably goes down. Our focus is kind of just, I'm just here. I'm not really paying attention. And our confidence is probably shot, or we're on the fence. We have that high and then we have that low. But if we can like really lock in our sleep, hydration, mobility, and nutrition, like we can stop playing the game of where is my headache coming from.
Yeah.
So let's stop playing that game and just do what we need to do.
Absolutely. You'll enjoy the game so much more. Number 4, your self-talk outside of the game becomes your inner voice during the game. We have honed in on positive self-talk multiple times. And if you are a negative, harsh, self-critical, judging, drama type of person off the court, guess what you do on the court? You can try to fake it, but the true you is you're that type of person. And I think your teammates come to know that. They think, she acts like this on the court, but off the court, she's really stuck up. She's cocky. She doesn't say hi. She doesn't care about people. Guess what? Guess what message is going to stand out more? The one off the court than the one on the court. And my heart aches for athletes that do this, that they try to just put on the show when they're at practice, but they are not nice human beings off. And to me, I have come to decide for me, I don't want to be known as that. Am I perfect? No. I make mistakes, and I'm sure I come off as negative or harsh to people sometimes. But 1, it's because I'm passionate. And 2, I do care about doing things the right way. You can do it in a lot of ways, but I want to do them the right way. So your self-talk needs to be the right way. They need to be focused on being positive, to be uplifting. And the more you practice compassion, forgiveness, encouraging words, disciplining yourself and your life, those are the tools you'll access when you are under pressure. Game-winning shots, game-winning free throws, not making a turnover under pressure in that press when you know this is going to matter. I've got to get the ball up the floor. How you talk off the court is exactly the thing you're going to draw on in those moments. That's how your brain works. That is why we're so passionate about teaching you how to do this from a mindset instead of just in a physical skill level set.
Yeah, and then one thing I'd also add to that list of things is your gratitude. We have to be grateful. The more grateful you are, the less anxious you are. So just think about that. We did a whole month of gratitude. What did you notice in that? The whole month of being grateful. Think about it. And our last point is your identity leads performance, not the other way around. I'll say that again. Identity leads performance. So those of you who know who you are perform better than athletes who rely on the results to define them. I'll read that again. Athletes who know who they are perform better than athletes who rely on results to define them. Which one are you? Who are you? What do you stand for? Why do you do the things that you do? Or do you just rely on your results to define who you are? You let other people tell you who you are. I hope you know who you guys are. And I hope you know your purpose. And if you don't, take some time. Write it down. If you have an idea of who you want to become, write that down, because we can become anything we want to be. I truly believe that. I believe that we can become who we want to be if we're willing to put in the work.
Absolutely. And I think, not to take this off on a whole different tangent, that is where my spiritual or personal identity really had to come into play, because I was trying to impress or improve people. I guess based off of who I thought they thought I was. You'll be chasing that your whole life if you're always worried about how other people see you. That is why we're bringing up fake confidence versus true confidence. True confidence comes from within, and for me, I know it comes above. And you don't have to believe that same way to have that. However, I truly hope that if you don't know who you are and your purpose and why you're here, go on a journey to figure that out. Because if you don't, you'll have a rough life and you'll always be spinning out in one way or another, because those answers to those deeper questions are what builds true confidence. Knowing your identity of who you truly are will make all the difference. So This is going to be part of our challenge coming this week, but we're going to give you a exposure or pre-exposure of what these are, because these questions are going to be the activity that we want you to focus on. So if you have a pen or paper, like Shalise had invited you to have earlier, write these down. And there's going to be 6 of them. Take time. Maybe you do one a day. Don't rush through these. I think that's the thing, is like, oh, I did it, I'm done. No. We want you to take time to really focus on this, and maybe leave some space between these questions so you can add to it as your week or month goes on to really focus on this. So number 1.
And we'll put them on the screen so that way when we're reading them out, that way you can see what they are. So that way you can take a pause and write them down. So that way you don't do all that stuff. So
yeah, I'm in charge of the screen sharing today. Sorry, getting a little off track there. But yes, the first one, number 1, what do I need to feel grounded before competitions? Number 2, what habits make me feel strong mentally? What environments help me perform best? Number 4, what patterns do I notice when I'm playing well versus struggling? That's a huge one. It should take you more than one time to figure that out. But when you do, you're going to have some pretty incredible breakthroughs. Number 5, where do I seek validation, and is it healthy? This goes back to everything we've talked about today. I would say out of all these, that would be the one I'd hope you'd focus on most, because once you figure out who you're trying to please or where you're trying to get that recognition and acceptance, your eyes will be opened quite a bit. Number 6, what makes me lose confidence, and how can I address it before game day? I think a lot of us are like, oh, game day will come, I'm going to have a good game, it's going to fix all that. No. You got to find it before so you have a good game. Then it will reinforce to your brain what that true confidence looks like and who you truly are. So athletes who understand themselves rise faster and stay consistent longer. I don't know about you, but as an elite athlete, I would rather have a whole season of games I was averaging 10 to 12 points instead of, I had one 20-point game and then I have 2 points the rest of the season. We want you to be consistent. An elite athlete can perform consistently, not just one day here and there once a season.
So we really encourage you to take time this week to really answer these questions. This is your challenge of the week. And we hope that you do take the time to answer these questions. Maybe talk to a coach about it, talk to a parent about it, or talk to a teammate about it. And just open up. Feel those emotions. A lot of us are probably like, I have that cringe of like, I don't want to answer that question. Answer it. Because you're going to have a breakthrough when you do. And so, like Wood said, there's going to be a turning point. And so many high-level athletes describe the turning point when they realized confidence wasn't about hype, talent, or even skill. It was about who they became outside of their sport. And the best athletes don't wait for the game to make them confident. They bring confidence into the game because of their self-awareness, preparation, and identity. And on the screen now, you can see a depiction of some ducks. Also can be told of the story of the ugly duckling. I know all of you have heard the story of the ugly duckling. If you haven't, go to Google and type ugly duckling and read the story. Long story short, the ugly duckling wasn't confident in who they were. But as they went through life, went through a couple challenges, they found out who they were. They became more confident in who they were and were not afraid to stand out because of who they were and what they stood for. A lot of the times we're trying to fit the mold. Break out of the mold. Because we're born, each and every single one of us is born for a specific purpose. And my purpose may not be the same purpose as yours. Our values may align and our purposes may be similar. But I am different than you are. And you are different than me. And that's because I know who I am. You know who you are, and we both know who we're trying to become. And just like the ugly duckling, he had to learn. And we're kind of like the ugly duckling, all trying to learn who we are, trying to become more confident in our own skin, to be better on and off the court.
This is an amazing story that will probably continue for centuries to come because of how important it is and what it teaches you. And I was thinking, of all the teams I've coached, everybody wants the championship. Everybody wants the region title. Everybody wants the wins. A true team that's going to do that and do it consistently finds their identity and their confidence off the court, and then you bring it together, and that's when that chemistry starts to come. And you're starting to be able to understand, I'm good at this, they're good at this. We build off of each other. We grow on in these ways. And honestly, that's the beauty of this story is we don't need 10 ducklings that act the same way, quack the same way, and dribble the same way, but we need individual players to bring their talents and their skills and want to work together for that greater result, the championship. And when you find confidence, you'll be able to do that whether you're the leading scorer or whether you were the teammate that set your teammates up to be the leading scorer. Doesn't matter. The same results are going to happen. And you'll have that recognition in time. So, as Shalise had mentioned, we invite you to take to heart the challenge that we're giving you this week. And we want you to really focus on a couple of these final thoughts because these are huge. We're going to share a couple of quotes that we have loved as we were preparing for this and just how they tie into the confidence and who you can become. Confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. And that's from Peter T. McIntyre. I don't know about you, but too many of us have to be right to feel good about ourselves. Break that mindset. You don't have to be right to be confident. What you do need to do is be willing to overcome the fear to learn how to do it right. Then you'll know in the future how to do it.
Yeah, and kind of going off that quote, when my sister got married, there was a person that said, it's better to be kind than to be right. And that stuck with me. They've been married for like 10 years, and that's been something that stuck with me. And I think that's true right now. Like, a lot of us, we're trying to be right. We have to prove our point. But kind of like what we talked about, is we need to be kind. People don't care if you're right. They remember about how you made them feel. So, another quote that's not on this. It's better to be kind than to be right. The second one is one important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence is preparation, and that's by Arthur Ashe. So we have to prepare. We have to be willing to put in the work to build our confidence and to become more elite every single day.
Yeah, and the last one from Eleanor Roosevelt, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. So the questions we've asked you to think about, to write down, to face yourself, to overcome the fears of what you might discover, that is where you're going to gain the confidence, the courage, and the strength to keep going and to become a better athlete. I promise you, this exercise, this challenge, whatever you want to call it, is going to get you further along than you going and just putting in 10 hours of drill time. Because you're working on the mental. Is the drills and the skills important? Absolutely. But if you want to get to the next level, you've got to face yourself and discover who your true self is and what you can become as you overcome the blocks and limitations you're putting on yourself.
Yeah. And like what said, like, we do hope you take the challenge. And a lot of you will, and a lot of you may not be ready for it, but take it. Again, next week, we do have a live class. It will be at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and we're going to be talking about time and stillness and why it is the hidden edge in our sport. In your sport, it doesn't have to be basketball. It can be whatever sport. And you don't even have to play a sport. It's the hidden talent. So please come join us. We give out a little prize, so come. It's going to be super fun. And as we wrap it up, a lot of you may just be saying, okay, yeah, that's great. That was good. But we want, if there's anything you take away in today's episode, we want it to be this. Listen carefully. Confidence is built in the quiet places of your life, in reflection, in discipline, in honest self-awareness, and in daily habits. The court simply reveals what you've been building all along. Become confident in who you are outside of your sport, and you'll be unstoppable inside it. And we just want to thank you for tuning in, for deciding to listen to this podcast, whether you're listening to it on Spotify or on YouTube, or if you're just seeing it on Instagram and decide to click on our link. We're grateful for each and every single one of you. And we know that as you put in the work, your confidence will grow. Your confidence will shine. You'll know who you are, what you stand for, and why you're here. And as you come to learn that for yourself, you'll realize how unstoppable and amazing and elite you already are. And we just want to say we love you guys and thank you so much for everything you do for us. Stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll catch you next time.